Welcome back to Shark Sports Wrap. Tony Segreto here with you on 6:40 a.m. And what a pleasure to have with us now the head women's and men's swimming coach, Hollie Bonewit-Cron. You come here, this is our first year, and you come here with great credentials that I want you to tell our audience. But what a great splash, no pun intended, you made when you came here. Tell us about the recruiting process of Lenovo recruiting you, saying, hey, we want to start this new program. We want you. Your reaction and how it all came to pass.
Well, it was actually fantastic because I had spent the majority of my coaching career at the University of Florida. So I had swam in college up in Ohio and came to an opportunity at the University of Florida. So when we moved down here and my husband's job moved us down here, this job came open, and it was absolutely fantastic that they're adding men's and women's swimming and diving programs. So couldn't pass it up.
A great fit for you.
A very great fit.
But now you're starting from scratch.
That's right.
You have the facilities just being built. You have no athletes. You have how many scholarships do you have?
Oh, we had 8.1.
8.1. Mm-hmm. So, and then how many athletes do you have to split that up with?
It depends. Usually between 20 and 30 on each side.
All right. So do the math, and you can figure out what Hollie has to work with. And you put together a team that just shocks everybody. Tell us about the season and where you wound up, because you'll tell it much better than me.
Well, fortunately, Nova Southeastern did a great job in hiring me a year ahead of time. So I spent the entire first year that I was here recruiting on the phone, on emails, every chance I could get to recruit the right athletes to come into this program, both academically and athletically. So they came in and, as you said, made a huge splash. They were challenged in many ways, especially in the water. So when they were asked to go fast, they met that challenge, and the year progressed on, and they kept getting faster and a little bit broken down in their training. By the time our conference meet ended, our men did win the conference championship, Sunshine
First
State.
year out, amazing.
First year. Yep, and our women did fantastic, and at the very end, the NCAA championships, our men were 13th in the nation, our women were 20th.
Unbelievable. Certainly it had to surpass your expectation.
It did. It did.
Well, before we get to the athletes, let's digress just a little bit and talk about your facilities. I don't think, we talk about you coming out here to the Don Taft University Center to see the basketball arena and see the Recplex and just come out to see the Guy Harvey mural. But to see this facility for swimming, it's extraordinary. It probably rivals any pool in the country.
Absolutely, without a question it does, especially any pool in Florida for that matter. But in the country, you have the unique opportunity to not only swim 8 lanes of long course meters, but you have 28 lanes of short course yards and 16 lanes of 25 meters. So you have any sort of combination that you could possibly think of.
What about the athletes? What about athletes here in South Florida? I mean, I know you swam at the University of Florida. What about the pool? Again, this is just one big pun interview. The pool you get to choose from here in South Florida, local high schools, local clubs. What are the athletes like?
They're great. I've known a lot of these coaches for many, many years by coaching at the University of Florida. So I think the relationships I made with those coaches early on has only helped me bring those kids in, because a lot of the great swimmers do come from the South Florida, Tri-County area. And it's been really nice to bring them into our facility, and they get to see one of the best facilities in the country. How
many local athletes do we have on the roster?
We have about 14 right now. So within the state of Florida. So that extends all the way from down here all the way up to Tallahassee and up to Jacksonville and over on the west coast of Florida.
Now, is there an athlete on the roster that comes from an unlikely area, like Vermont or New Hampshire?
Well, we do have an athlete, Josh Davis, who's from South Dakota.
South Dakota?
Yes.
How did you find Josh?
Josh actually, I think, found us. I think he was looking for warmer pastures, but Josh has been a great asset to our team. He was an All-American last year at the NCAA championships and one of our best backstrokers on the team. So he's done great things for us and comes from here on South Dakota, and tells me that he has the largest pheasant sculpture in the world, perhaps. I may have to double check that with him, but the largest pheasant sculpture. Little known fact about Huron, South Dakota.
Wow, I had no clue.
I know, I did.
But I'll probably use that at dinner tonight, right, and sound very intelligent. Give us a day in the life of swimmers, and I kind of correlate them to the rowers, because you're up early in the morning, you're in the pool early. I know President Hamberry's probably in the pool with you early, because he likes to swim early. Giving out a little secret, which next week he's going to be out with us. We'll talk about it. But give us a day in the life of a swimmer.
Well, we do love having President Hamberry in the pool with us, because we get to see what he does. He gets to see what we do. A day in the life would be our swimmers come in early in the morning. They train for 2 hours.
How early?
6 a.m. Some of them do come in at 5:30 who have class conflicts, so we do make adjustments. But they definitely grind it out 2 hours in the morning. Oftentimes they have 2 or 3 classes throughout the day. They're fitting in their lunch period. They're also fitting in their study hall hours. And then they come back for an afternoon practice for about 2 hours, which includes dry land or weights depending on the day, and then in the water pool training.
How much has weight training played a role in the swimmer's life now as compared to a decade ago?
It's truly amazing, because the technology has come a long way, not only with the equipment but the coaching staff as well. And we have one of the best coaching staffs, in my opinion. I mean, they've done such a great job, especially this year. Our guys, and by guys I mean our men and women, were in much better shape at the beginning of this year than what I even saw last year.
And is the program, has it been on a faster track than you could have expected?
It has been. It definitely.
Do you think the area has a lot to do with that?
I do. I definitely think that the area has a lot to do with that, and the quality of kids that come out of this area, and everything that they have.
Give us a sense now about the season. When the season starts when?
The season does start in about October. We have our first competition in October, so we've already had a few competitions so far, and it'll extend all the way through to March.
And where do you stand now with the competition, and how do you feel you're doing?
We're doing really well. We make progress and steps as we keep competing against these great teams, and we do compete against other Division I programs as well as junior college and obviously our great other Division II opponents.
And fans can come out. Do you have a fan base yet, or do we need to help create one?
We would love to help create more fans, but we have a great fan base. My husband being one of them, who loves to come out.
Now was he a swimmer?
He was. We swam together in college.
No way.
We did.
Okay,
yeah.
So then is the perch from home after a meet? You go home and your husband's name is
Chad.
Chad says, "So Hollie, why did you use this swimmer in this place?" And what, I mean, so do we have, like, the Monday morning quarterback at home?
There's not really a Monday morning quarterback, but he's also an attorney, so there's definitely some bantering going back and forth.
So there's a question and answer period when you get home.
There is definitely a question and answer period.
And attorney versus coach, who usually gets the last word?
Who wins? That would have to be me. That would have to be me, the coach. He may not like me saying that, but it's true.
I was talking to Matt Perry just before you came in, and he decided, he's a Hall of Famer, a great soccer player here, and now the assistant soccer coach, and he decided he was going to try and take the team on and be on the field with them. Do you ever jump in the pool with your team and challenge them, or?
I would like to say I hung up my suit about 12 years ago, so at this time I don't get in the water with them. They do a much better job, and I'm better coaching outside of the water, but it's crossed my mind.
But don't they ever ask you, say, "Coach, come on in"?
No, actually they don't, and I'm actually thankful for that.
All the coaches here have done a wonderful job of academics, teaching academics. Giuseppe was just in here and talking about how even when he recruits internationally, it's all about academics first, academics first. Tell us about your mantra in academics, and because it's a tough schedule for a swimmer. I mean, having to swim 2 hours in the morning from 6 to 8, then go to class, then get in study hall, and then come back in the afternoon for 2 more hours. That's 4 hours out of an 8-hour day.
I would say last year we definitely, we learned a lot last year. We were on a fast track of learning. So our women were academic All-Americans as a team last year, and we had some men that were individually academic All-Americans. So we have some progress, but we've made even greater strides this year to keep track of their academics and to make sure they're utilizing all of our resources at NOVA, including the tutoring, the writing center, and our academic advisors.
How important is that for you to stay on top of that? Is that as critical as what goes on in the pool?
Absolutely, because our athletes will see that we take a vested interest in all parts of their life, not just their athletic life.
You have had an opportunity to be with great programs like the University of Florida, and then when you swam in college as well. How do you see NOVA, with only a year under its belt, continuing and finding itself in the NCAA?
I think that there is no question how much we're going to build and continue to grow with our team and get that much faster. We had a lot of success last year, but we definitely don't get complacent around here. So we have to keep building and, you know, keep moving up in the ranks at the NCAA.
Do you find a difference recruiting now that you have a year behind you and you've had the success you've had, that when you say, hey, we're from Nova Southeast, they go, oh, we know, we heard?
Right.
Have you heard the difference?
I have, and actually I really credit the first class that came in here because they slept in a hotel instead of, you know, on campus with other athletes. They came in and they trusted only what I told them, not actually what they saw from other athletes on the team. So I definitely think now recruiting is a little bit easier from my standpoint, but at the same time, you know, I like having an active role in getting these athletes here.
Give me a sense of strategy that a swimming coach uses for a meet.
Strategy, I would say, depending on who we're swimming.
Well, I understand that, but does swimmer A, who may be swimming in an A position, one meet become maybe swim to B, maybe become a B swimmer in another meet because they match up better? You know, coaches like to figure out matchups.
Absolutely.
So do you do that in the pool as well?
Definitely, and the best example was this past weekend when we were swimming Indian River, and one of our athletes is a distance swimmer, 500,000 in the mile, but he also swims the 200 butterfly, the 400 IM, so I was able to put him in those events because he was better matched up against another team, so there is some strategy.
And how much do you scout your opponent beforehand, or is it just done on time?
It's times. It's definitely times that makes it a lot easier in swimming, you know, and maybe not easier, that's an unfair statement, but it's nice to see it on paper.
Athletic director told you, but on our first show, I talked about the swimming program.
He did tell me.
Because I think it's a wonderful, wonderful story to come, you know, from a standing start to win as many titles as you want and win the conference and have the NCAA All-American. I think it's fabulous.
Well, thank you. I couldn't do it with all the support from around here. So
well, great to have you. I hope you're on again. Good luck with
Thank
Chad
you.
at home. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
And happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there listening to us today. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you're getting a sense of the culture here at Nova Southeastern University and Nova Southeastern University athletes. It's about academics, it's about great performance on the field, and it's about a culture that permeates through this entire campus about being a family and about understanding the true meaning of student athlete. We thank you for joining us here on 640 AM. I'm Tony Segreto. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We'll see you next week on Sharp.